I ask you all to pay special attention to a recent movie that was just released back in July of this year called The First Purge. Now, we know that scriptures in Matthew chapter 20 verse 16 tells us that the last shall be first and the first last. This movie, The First Purge, is really about the last purge against us believers. See, the masses, and society as a whole, continues to be given into the predictive programming that is occurring now on a daily basis. And in the entertainment world, this movie, The Purge, is actually coming out this fall with a 10-episode TV series. I personally do not watch mainstream movies like this, and there's a reason for that, because I think we should guard our minds on some of these things that Hollywood puts out there, including movies like this, which is brainwashing. When we skim through the trailer, there's a lot of, the trailer alone moves super fast, which is a way of putting subliminal imaging into a person's mind. And doing this, it's a way to program the mind. In other words, it's brainwashing. The First Purge movie is extremely disturbing, violent, and it states that the poor of the nation is the real problem. I find that quite interesting, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But what the movie is really about, it's about how once a year citizens are all called to participate in the purge. And what this means is all laws, including murder, is legal for 12 hours. And the purging is all controlled by the government. And the movie states that the purge will save the country by letting people take their anger out. Now, the trailer is very disturbing, but I'm just going to go ahead and play it here, and you can watch it if you want, but if you don't, that's okay too, because I personally don't like to watch that kind of stuff. But in the trailer, you can see a part of the clip that states a nation is reborn. And I'm asking you, do you see the writing on the wall here? I mean, are you actually understanding what this means, beloved ones? This is another tool in training and programming society into believing that through purging, a nation will be reborn. Brothers and sisters, that nation will be the satanic one world system. It's what I call the greatest show on earth, when a strong delusion comes about. And the strong delusion is when Satan will appear to be as Yahushua HaMashiach coming in the clouds. The second coming of Yahushua. Now, as I was grabbing the pictures of the trailer, I came across the guillotine one. And I could not believe that it was right there. Right there, the guillotine. And right after they show the guillotine on the screen, it will say, "Now witness." See, they're getting people used to seeing the guillotine being used. This movie is brainwashing society as a whole into the coming Jacob's trouble, the Great Tribulation, or what I like to term as the final crusade. See, the president of the country is the one that encourages the murders out of all the crimes to occur during the First Purge. See, the agenda is to get the people to clean up the streets by destroying the poor. This movie, The First Purge, is another form of brainwashing a dumbed-down society. See, beloved ones, the ultimate purge will be used against those who do not conform to the coming one-world system ran by Satan. Let me show you how deep this goes. Let's turn to the great book of Revelation. In Revelation 13, verse 16 through 17, we find that he calls us all, both small and great, and rich and poor, and free and slave, to be given a mark upon their right hand or upon their foreheads, and that no one should be able to buy or sell except he that has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. This verse has both a spiritual and a physical interpretation. See, the truth is, when you are keeping Yahuwah's seventh-day Sabbath, you cannot buy or sell on the Sabbath, Shabbat. Now, once the counterfeit laws are in full force, those who do not comply will become what? Well, let's see. If a person cannot buy or sell, what are they? You guessed it, poor. Now, what type of people is the First Purge wanting to eliminate? Remember, in the movie, they feel these type of people is the reason for the nation's problems. Yep, that is right. The poor. In reality, those who do not conform, as extremists, the poor, will be holding them back from achieving their one world utopia. What is even more interesting is that the killing of the poor is considered a religious ritual that is held in churches. Did you know that? At one time during the movie, people are seen running to the churches to hide out. Here again, predictive programming. They are desensitizing people that it is acceptable to murder people in a church setting. Could this be the reason why we are seeing those in the music industry buying churches? Something to think about indeed. Clearly, the First Purge is about satanic rituals in a church setting, murdering the poor, that is, us believers. Now, there's another thing that we need to pay special attention to with this. There's a new comic book or something coming out also around the same time the TV series is coming out, and it's called The Purge City. And again, this is very, very disturbing. What we have here is we see the Purge City as some type of store where they're advertising how people can go in there and, I guess, buy all kinds of things in support of the purge. Like that one says, prepare for the purge. This one says, purge cleanup. And then we have show your purge pride, where they're having people buy stuff. I mean, this is how far and extreme this is going. And these demonic movies come out to desensitize and program the people. This one particularly in purging all believers. The coming persecution, the final crusade against all called out ones will be terrible. I mean, my heart is saddened by this. Not so much for us called out ones, but more so because most do not have eyes to see. They have fallen in this trap. See, in the book of Matthew, we are told the following. Then they shall deliver you up to affliction and kill you, and you shall be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Matthew 24, chapter 9. See, beloved ones, when they hand the called out ones over, they will actually believe they are doing their duty to help humanity in the Great Purge. That this is something good. That's what they're going to believe. Also in the book of John, chapter 16, verse 2, we learn the following. They shall put you out of the congregations, but an hour is coming when everyone who kills you will think he is rendering service to Elohim. See, they truly believe they are going to be doing a good deed when they come to murder us. Or you could say purge us. Yet, sadly, they will be totally deceived into thinking that they are doing God's work. The non-believing that were once full of love will be turned into cold-blooded murderers. This will be the worst time throughout all of history. This is the satanic agenda. Clearly, the First Purge is brainwashing the people to purge out all extremists. To further explain, have you ever heard of Barbara Marx Hubbert? Well, if not, she is a Jewish agnostic, a well-known futurist, a New Ager, a public speaker, and an author. If you have ever read anything this woman has written, then you get a very clear picture of just how easy people will think they are doing Yahuwah's work when the Great Purging begins. Here, let me explain. You see, Barbara Hubbert believes that a conscious evolution is the next step in human evolution, and she teaches that a new species can be birthed. She also claims a new world and a new humanity is struggling to be born. But here's the kicker. Get a load of this. You see, in order for that new world and that new humanity to evolve, all those who refuse to change will have to die. She has likened humans to cancer cells and defective seeds that need to be destroyed. Look, these people are so evil, so demonic, that they truly believe they are doing God's work. According to her, 1/4 of humanity must be eliminated from the social body. She believes they are in charge of God's selection purpose for the planet Earth, that He selects while they destroy. To them, they believe they are the riders of the pale horse, that is death. More of her twisted ideology is that she believes Christ states that those who see themselves as separate and not divine hinder humanity's ability to spiritually evolve. Those who do not deny their own divinity are like cancer cells in the body of God. Brothers and sisters, are you seeing what we are dealing with here, beloved ones? I mean, Barbara Hubbert, along with those like her, truly believe they have the God-given right and that they are the overseers and who decides and who lives and who is eliminated. This is the mindset of pure Satanism. These self-appointed interpreters of the Messiah's words are not listening to Yahushua Messiah at all, but of the spirit of deception, the father of lies, the beast. Satan is the one they are listening to. According to her, the choice is, do you wish to become a natural Christ, a universal human, or do you wish to die? People will either change or die. That is the choice, she states. Change or die. Whoever does not conform to the global New World Order will be murdered. Plain and simple. Listen, this is not just for any particular religious group or a certain race of people. This involves every single human being that is alive during this time. Look, let me tell you something. When the children of Israel left Egypt, a mixed multitude went up with them. As explained in Exodus chapter 12, verse 37 and 38. And the children of Israel set out from Ramesses to Succoth, about 600,000 men on foot, besides the little ones, and a mixed multitude went up with them too. Also flocks and herds, very much livestock. Brothers and sisters, there will be another mixed multitude that will come out of Jacob's trouble. That is the Great Tribulation. As outlined in the great book of Revelation, chapter 7, verse 9 and 10. After this, I looked and saw a great crowd which no one was able to count, and out of all nations and tribes and peoples and tongues, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, dressed in white robes, and palm branches in their hands, and crying out with a loud voice, saying, Deliverance belongs to our Elohim, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb. Hallelujah. Praise Yahuwah. See, more and more people will be filled with the Ruach HaKodesh. As this occurs, people from all walks of life, all religious backgrounds, even those with no religious beliefs whatsoever, will draw that line in the sand. They will become called out ones. Oh, rejoice with me, brothers and sisters. Let us praise Yahuwah. Hallelujah. We have nothing to fear. Those of us who are alive during this time must remember that Yahuwah created us for a time like this. He knew we would be strong in the faith and faithful servants to the very end. Let us never forget. But I say to you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body, and after that are unable to do any more. But I shall show you whom you should fear. Fear the one who, after killing, possesses authority to cast into Gehenna. Yeah, I say to you, fear him. Are you starting to see how these people think? If so, then you understand and see how easily they will think they are doing a good deed by murdering those who will not conform. See, Barbara Hubbert, she's not the only one that has the same twisted ideology. The entire New Age philosophy is pure demonic and full of occultism. The roots date back since the Garden of Eden. Have you ever heard of Alice Bailey? Well, she was considered the mother of the New Age movement. Here are some of her quotes. There is no question, therefore, that the work to be done in familiarizing the general public with the nature of the mysteries is of paramount importance at this time. These mysteries will be restored to outer expression through the medium of the church and the Masonic fraternity. When the Great One comes with his disciples and initiates, they shall have the restoration of the mysteries and the esoteric presentation as a consequence at the first initiative. And that is who they are waiting for. She calls him the Great One, along with its disciples. See, the revealing of Satan, along with the fallen angels, I refer to this as the coming imposter, the greatest show on earth. Whereas the scriptures reveal this event as the strong delusion, and strong it shall be. Beloved ones, try to comprehend that all scriptures that refer to the second coming of Yahushua HaMashiach, Satan and its wicked crew is going to duplicate. She also states that reincarnation is implicit in the manifested universe and is a basic and fundamental. See, those who believe in reincarnation, when the purging begins, to them, they won't be murdering people. No, not at all. They believe the people will just be recycled, that is, reincarnated. To them, they will be aiding people into evolving into something better. They will be doing a great deed in humanity. Wow, totally insane, right? I mean, but this is their ideology. This is what they are eagerly waiting for. But that is how their minds works, as they are listening to the father of lies. See, she has further stated that she has dedicated her life to the service of the coming one, which we know that is Satan, and that she will do all she can to prepare men's minds and hearts for that event. She has no other life intention. Those of us here within the FOY ministry has made it part of our mission to expose these twisted, evil, demonic people. She has indeed dedicated her life in teaching the satanic doctrine in hopes of preparing huge amounts of people for the coming one, as she called it. Alice Bailey taught that the coming one is their savior. This one will arrive during the Aquarian age, which to them it's a time of enlightenment and peace. This coming one to them will also unite all humanity. In other words, they are eagerly awaiting the arrival of Satan. Then there is the New Ager Ruth Montgomery, who had this to say: millions of people will not survive the transition into the New Age. That is what the purge is all about, beloved ones. Change or die. Another person we need to consider is H.B. Blavatsky, a Russian occultist, spiritist, author, and co-founder of the Theosophical Society. She has been very popular to those in the occult. She is known for the secret doctor. This woman was a pure Satanist. After reading her quotes, there is no doubt in my mind that she was possessed. Her quotes are so disturbing, I'm not even going to read them, but they're up here and you can read them as I explain some other things. Like, you see, to us, Satan is a murderer, a deceiver, a manipulator, and the adversary, along with the father of lies. Satan is the great impersonator. You see, this creative being desires all to worship it over Yahuwah. But according to those who worship Satan, this being is their savior. To them, Satan did good when he beguiled Hawa. Turn with me to Genesis chapter 3, verse 1 through 5. And the serpent was more crafty than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim had made. And he said to the woman, Is it true that Elohim has said, Do not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said to the serpent, We are to eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, Do not eat of it, nor touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, You shall certainly not die. For Elohim knows that in the day you eat of it, your eyes shall be opened, and you shall be like Elohim, knowing good and evil. Pure witchcraft, full of pride, great deceit. That was total rebellion against what Yahuwah had declared. If that was not bad enough, Satan further tells her that she will be like Elohim and knowing good and evil. See, Satan worshipers, they don't grasp the fall of man here in the garden. They see this as man evolving into a higher consciousness. Those within the occult, magic, the music industry, and the majority within the movie industry follow the occult teachings of a man called Crowley. He is another leader that we need to look at. Crowley is known to be the most wickedest man in the world. He was influenced by Eastern religion, yoga, naturalism, ceremonial magic, alchemy, astrology, Kabbalah, the tarot. He was also a Freemason and a homosexual. See, those in the occult, Satanism, New Age movement, witchcraft, Freemasonry, music, and movie industry admire Crowley. He is known for his occultic writings, his teachings, mysticism, ceremonial magic, and is the founder of the religion called Thelema. The law of Thelema is, do what thy will, shall be the whole of the law. Crowley claims to be the prophet to guide humanity into the Aeon of Horus. This is a time frame when humans would control their own destiny, do their own will. To him, that was the great work of all humans. All followers should do as they will and practice their true will through the means of magic. Here are some of the quotes from him. According to him, the key to joy is disobedience. Wow, unbelievable. Again, I'm not going to read these quotes from this guy. However, they're up here and you can read them as I carry on with describing how disturbing this man truly was. See, clearly, this man was pure evil, fully and entirely demonically possessed. Now, was he the wickedest man in the entire world? Well, I'll be honest, that's not for me to give such a title to any individual. But I am leaning more towards someone like the real Dracula, Nero, or Hitler. However, with that said, I do believe this evil man was a great influencer. So good that in fact he has influenced thousands, if not millions of people straight to hell. The Beatles thought so much of him that they plastered his face on one of their album covers. Even Ozzy Osbourne was so much influenced by this man that he dedicated a song to him. Lady Gaga, David Bowie, Will Smith, and thousands more are followers of this man. We see his ideology even in the fast food restaurant of Burger King, called Have It Your Way. That's their famous logo. Some believe that and claim that Barbara Bush is actually his daughter. Clearly, thousands, if not millions, have been influenced by Aleister Crowley and his teachings. If not directly from him, then through those who follow him. For instance, millions of people follow Beyonce and her husband Jay-Z alone. These two are heavy into Satanism. There is no doubt at that level there is demonic possession. She has admitted to this, just as others that are in the music industry has. They clearly admit that a spirit will take over their body right before they get on stage and perform, or while they're doing it, or right before. I mean, they admitted this. People worship Beyonce. She is like a god to them, without a doubt. It has been written, people will not put up with sound doctrine, as outlined in 2 Timothy chapter 4. Recently, 900 people attended the Beyonce Mass. This Mass was held at Grace Cathedral Episcopal Church in San Francisco, California. Here we have a woman admitting to being demonically possessed, who worships Satan, and a church dedicates an entire Mass to her. Hey, this is unbelievable and totally insane. Are they not to give honor to JC? This is absurd. She has been known to mock the Last Supper, to dress up like the Virgin Mary, and to impersonate an African Egyptian queen god. She has even been called Queen Bey. The article states that according to the Reverend Jude Harmon, Beyonce is a better theologian than many of the pastors and the priests in the church today. What? Are you serious? I mean, come on. This has got to be a joke, right? To make it seem legit and good, they announced they were doing this for empowering black females. Womanhood culture. This is how the feminist movement works. Most women of any race would find this entire thing insulting. This is pure idol worshiping inside a so-called holy cathedral establishment building, aka the church. If people could not see how the church has been infiltrated with witchcraft, the New Age movement, Satanism, then they are truly a bunch of dead men bones. Very shocking how far society has declined in such a short time. Anyone with a tiny hint of discernment can see that this is pure demonic. I mean, these people need some major prayer, having true believers to stand in the gap and pray for them. What's even more troublesome is that there is a group that has a church and even made a religion dedicated to Beyonce. They even have their own version of the Bible called Babel. I guess that's how you pronounce it, Babel. As the article states, they are excited to get enough donations so they can make a temple for themselves, so they can worship the Mother Bay. Early reports also stated that Beyonce bought an 850,000 church in New Orleans. Now these reports are saying that she indirectly bought it. To me, the time we spent down there doing ministry work, the city of New Orleans is modern-day Sodom and Gomorrah. New Orleans is known for devil worshiping and voodooism. Katy Perry, another follower of Aleister Crowley, has been on a mission to buy a medieval-style convent. These women are modern-day Jezebels. They worship Satan. They want to take as many as they can to hell with them. They are looking to bring the public into their satanic rituals. Aleister Crowley, their leader, has stated how human sacrifice is the best. I mean, is that why they're wanting to get these churches? So they can perform human sacrifice right there when the purging begins? These people are twisted, demonic, and pure Satan worshipers. And sadly, millions of people are flocking and worshiping these singers, these movie stars, they're worshiping these people. And it's sad because society has become so desensitized and detached from Yahuwah's ways that they truly can't see that these people are evil. To continue with the feminism agenda of worshiping Satan, Lorena Grande has a new song that recently came out called God is a Woman. I mean, this video is full of blasphemy. The video starts with her as the center of the universe, and then it proceeds to her thinking while a bunch of men throw insults at her. At one time in the video, she's even seen laying in liquid paint that appears to be a woman's genital area. The strange and bizarre video continues with her representing the she-wolf of Romulus and Remus. She's then sitting on a globe, and it's like she moves her fingers a certain way, like she's controlling the weather as an earth goddess, Gaia. Matters really go demonic when she starts singing with Cerberus, which is the three-headed dog, which is said to be the guardian of the underworld. She also is seen balancing the planets as if she created the planets. The video ends with a picture of Michelangelo of the Adam picture, but instead they turn it around to women, which appear to be in a womb. Even at one time during the video, you can hear the Kabbalah witch Madonna stating the Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 17, how I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my sisters. And you will know my name is Yahuwah when I lay my vengeance upon you. And this is what we're dealing with. They will quote scripture and they make a mockery out of it. This whole video, God is a woman, it's mockery and blasphemy. I like to think that there is good in everyone, and I like to look for the good in everyone. However, the sad fact is, not everyone is good. And these people, they worship Satan. They're all part of its team. And anymore, they're so up in our faces because time is so short that literally they don't care anymore. Their goal is to try to take as many as they can to hell with them. And all these people, that's like this, they're all on a highway to hell unless they repent of their wicked ways. And to promote the Illuminati feminist movement, visitors to the National Mall last winter got to see something unusual. A sculpture of a naked woman standing 45 feet tall, right next to the phallic symbol of male power. The sculpture, called Our Evolution, remained there until March of 2018. This sculpture was to represent women power. Of course, they had their reasons, but to me, it is just very fishy, a fertility goddess being erected right up in front of the male phallic symbol. These people are not on our team, and they need major prayer. Some of them are so far gone that all we can do is just pray. Pray for these people. That is why we see these Hollywood sickos promoting blood facials and vampire masks, along with blood baths. To rub someone's blood or some other thing's blood on their body, it's a satanic ritual. I mean, you can Google pictures of Eminem laying in a bath full of blood, while others are rubbing blood all over their bodies. Like Lady Gaga, she recently left a motel room and they found a bathtub full of blood. The life is in the blood. So whose blood are they rubbing on their faces? Taking a bath in? I mean, the pictures of these sickos are just way too disturbing to even post. If you have the stomach to view, then I suggest you go ahead and Google these matters. This is how late in the game we are in, folks. They just don't care anymore. And the sad thing is, society as a whole, they put up with this demonic stuff. They support these people by buying their records, their movies, and sadly even wanting to be like them. This stuff is totally bizarre, evil, and just demonic. I mean, considering how satanic these people are with their spirit cooking, I haven't even written anything on that subject. However, from what I do know, it's just way too disturbing. Their blood baths, their blood facials, smearing blood on their bodies. I mean, can it get any crazier? Well, I think it has. Ever heard of Richard Dawkins? Well, he's an atheist that once said forcing a religion on a child, he considered that to be child abuse. This scientist believes that eating human meat grown in a lab could cause people to get over the taboo of cannibalism. He believes that human meat can be clean. Seriously, I'm not making this up. This stuff is scary, it's terrible, it's gross, it's abominable, and it's just so wrong at all levels. So if we go by the test tube grown in a lab instructions, then all that would be needed is some human tissue, possibly tissue from a dead donor corpse or from a satanic ritual, and a few weeks later, harvest time. Bingo! Lab-grown human meat. Remember that movie, Soylent Green? Yeah. Well, I need to remind everybody, too, that just a few years ago, reports came out stating how human DNA was found in hot dogs. I mean, how in the world is human DNA getting into hot dogs? And I mean, this is disturbing. But back to the lab meat article. It continues to state that clean meat, sausages, and chicken nuggets could be served in Asia and the United States before the end of 2018. Well, my goodness, that's just a couple months away. Look, the majority of people won't like to eat human meat grown in a lab. But you see, once they start taxing meat eaters, many might think twice about giving this a thumbs up. I guarantee, since many people do not want to eat this human lab-grown meat, they simply won't tell them. I mean, it's getting to the time where it's not even safe anymore to go out to eat. So as called out ones, it's best if we know directly where our food is coming from. I mean, we are in the midst of Babylon, but we don't have to partake of it, of the king's meat. People are getting desensitized to the subject of cannibalism through predictive programming. When I first heard of the Santa Clarita diet, I truly thought this was a new fad diet. Oh boy, not at all. I was like totally wrong. To my surprise, this is actually a horror comedy television series. The woman, Sheila, played by Drew Barrymore, is said to turn into a zombie, and she craves human flesh. So here again, this is cannibalism that people watch every week or whenever it's on, and they put the comedy spin on it. And I mean, I've read the article on it, and it's just disgusting how they show this woman eating people, and then they make a joke about it. And this is what people call entertainment. There is a reason for all this, and it is to desensitize and to program people to accept the coming purge. And these people are just downright evil. So sick that there is even a black eye ritual that they do. I mean, how many of you have noticed all these public figures lately that have been having black eyes on the left side? I mean, we'll just call this the Black Eye Secret Society ritual. It's pretty strange, huh? But get a load of this. I was watching a video about the DAJJAL, the Antichrist, for the Muslims, what they think. And the video describes the Antichrist as only having one eye, the left eye, whereas the right is blind. That is why we are seeing all these public figures with the one eye. Sadly, most consider these Satan worshipers to be cool, and they want to be just like them. I mean, these people have made their choice, and they're just puppets to the Illuminati. But sadly, so many people have been indoctrinated into these occult teachings. These Satan worshipers are so out of the closet that it's all over the place. They truly do not care. I mean, recently the royal family announced the birth of their newest little one. They named him Louis Arthur. What we should find interesting about this is that the name sounds a lot like Lucifer. People have claimed that the movie Angel Heart was named Louis Cypher. And if you say it fast, it's Lucifer. Could the royal family have named their baby Prince Lucifer? And the baby's initials are interesting also. Luther, Arthur, Charles, L-A-C. Lucifer, Antichrist? Another interesting thing I like to point out is in the movie The Omen, the mother of the Antichrist child, Damien, the mother's name is Catherine, Kate. I mean, I'm just saying, it all seems odd to me. But what I find shocking and actually kind of obvious is the dress that she chose to wear. I mean, of all dresses to show her new baby off in, she chose a dress that is so creepy and that it resembles the dress worn in the movie Rosemary's Baby. This is a 1968 horror movie about a couple that moves into an apartment with some creepy neighbors. Eventually, she mysteriously becomes pregnant from some sort of occult ritual that was done. It turns out she unknowingly was carrying Satan's baby in return for her husband to have some successful career. Has the royal child been a gift to Satan? Even more disturbing is the baby being named Charles. Just 13 months after the release of the movie, the director's pregnant wife, Sharon Tate, and their unborn baby was murdered in their very own living room by Charles Manson's group. Some people believe that the director cursed his own wife. The entire movie and script is pretty much blasphemy. The truth is, society as a whole has been so brainwashed and desensitized that they no longer feel shock or distress at viewing scenes of cruelty, violence, satanic rituals, murderers, or even suffering. If you wanted to know why they've spent years and years on predictive programming, now you know why. And these people are twisted and demonic. Let us not forget how Prince William called for an urgent depopulation in Africa. These people think they're God. The article goes on to state how he wants to do voluntary family limitations. I'm sure they will do that along with some other sinister ways. Just like how recently over there was the bad black plague that hit over there in Africa recently. See, with the final purging of all resistors, the extremists, that is, the nonconformists, also known as the called out ones, start being beheaded, the entire world won't care. It will be no big thing for them to see such violence because they have been desensitized. All this first started with silly cartoons. Then black and white movies like Larry, Moe, and Crowley, known as the Three Stooges. Sure, everyone laughed. However, that was the start of the programming. See, what soon followed was violent video games. Now it's just full-blown, cruel, violent, and extreme suffering being shown like every single second. I've never watched a single episode of Walking Dead. I seldom even watch movies, listen to music, videos, or even cartoons. Most is totally disturbing, as with these blood rituals. But to the masses, like society as a whole, they simply don't care. The more vile, shocking, disturbing, and gruesome, the more they like it. They want more, and more just to feel alive and to feed that lust. They will desire so much more that eventually they won't be satisfied until they get to see believers being tortured to death. Just like during the time of Nero and Constantine. People need to get over, oh, it's just a movie, or it's just a song. No way. This stuff is training manuals with the agenda to brainwash society for the final purge. We know they mock scriptures. So, in other words, the first purge will actually be the last purge, which will consist of murdering believers. When the world comes against us, we will be fine. We will continue to stand on our rock, Yahushua. Yahuwah called us for a time like this because he knew we would stand fast to the truth. He knew that we would be faithful workers in this great vineyard. We will be blessed because Yahuwah is with us. So, beloved ones, do not fret nor be afraid of Satan and its pawns. Do not care when we are scorned, mocked, and become a reproach to our neighbors. Continue to stand firm in the faith, as Yahuwah will take care of us. The bottom line is, the New World Order, the New Age movement, Satanism, Freemasonry, witchcraft, spiritualism, all are interwoven together and are inseparable. All of them are eagerly awaiting Satan's grand entrance, which scriptures refer to as the strong delusion, or I like to call it the greatest show on earth. The final purge is coming against all believers. Clearly, the First Purge movie is just another predictive programming tool to help indoctrinate and desensitize society as a whole for the strong delusion that's coming. One last quote I like to look at is from David Spangler, Director of Planetarian Initiative with the United Nations. He said that no one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation. There you go, beloved ones. The Great Purge is coming. And when that time comes, they will literally think they are doing service for Yahuwah. Well, that wraps this one up. So we don't have anything to fear. And if you need anything, don't hesitate. Come to FollowersofYah.com and you can order any of our free DVDs, books, or tracks. May Yahuwah bless you all. Shalom.